has cooled, thank goodness, but action on the court stays hot. Final quarterfinal match of the men's singles at this year's Australian Open Championships, and Pete Sampras takes on A.Costa.
Sampras holds on, first game of the match. Just take a look at the draw quickly. How about he? Amazing player. Sampras had a tough time with him, but beat him in 5, and now look what's in store for him.
Well, he was lucky to get through that down a break in the 5th, and A.Costa yet to lose a set so far in the championship.
Winner takes on Thomas Muster, and then you've got Carlos Moya and Michael Chang. Chang just took out Rios in short order last night.
That was an unbelievable match. I mean, those guys are bombing shots from the baseline. Chang, absolutely relentless. He didn't make hardly any mistakes, but Moya looks good too. He could give Chang some trouble.
Carlos Moya, by the way, and this man that we're looking at now, A.Costa, are best friends.
Yeah, it's amazing, and they got great games to go with, and I think both of these guys are capable of, as they're showing, doing well on a lot of surfaces, not just clay, because of their ability to attack and to finish points, and Costa can do that as well.
That's how it was for Costa to get to the quarters. He took out Patrick Rafter of Australia to the disappointment of the local fans. Then Krozlak, the Slovak, in straight sets. Scott Draper, another Australian, also in straights, and then Wayne Ferreira.
Well, we talked about Costa, his road to the quarters. Played a couple of, guys that like to come to net. A la Pete Sampras, obviously not as much game as Sampras, but still has yet to lose a set. And these conditions have been perfect for A.Costa. Wayne Ferreira, he destroyed him in 3 sets, and Ferreira finally had to retire. That was a real hot day the other day. One of the real hot ones we've had in Melbourne.
He told me he was suffering from hip flexor problems, and I figure the heat was a part of that too.
And he was also suffering from A.Costa's heavy ground strokes.
Break points here for Sampras on Costa's first serve game. Miss hit, and there's the break for Sampras. 2 games to love. Sampras, the top seed in the first set. Sampras to serve, leading by 2 games to love.
There's a big ace from Sampras out wide. Cliff, you've talked about the conditions here being a bit slower, the balls being a bit heavier, and you're right about that. But the conditions tonight, the nighttime conditions, are a lot different than they are during the day. And
better for Sampras.
Better for Sampras, I'll tell you why. Nice. Well, that's a huge running forehand from Costa. This guy can cover the court unbelievably well. Sampras mixing it up, coming in on the second serve. Look how far back Costa is, but if you don't hit a perfect volley, this guy will pass you every time. Talking about the conditions, when you play at night here, the court is not as hot. And when the court is really hot, this rebound ace service, the ball bounces off the court much higher. A missed volley from Sampras, and because of Costa's heavy ground stroke and the heavy spin he puts on the ball, he's actually more effective during the day on this service because his ball jumps much higher off the court, and that gives Sampras trouble. Now in these conditions, Sampras is strong enough where his serve is still going to be big at night, and he's going to have more time on his ground strokes. That's a good play there.
Yeah, if he can get in that close, he's in good shape.
Exactly. The ball's not going to jump up quite as high. You see the kick. closes that off well. The ball's not going to get up quite as high on Sampras's backhand as it might during the daytime. And that's how Costa's got to win this match. He's got to hit high, heavy balls to Sampras's backhand and then try to attack with the big forehand. But Pete's on tonight. 200 Ks, that is. And that comes out to
about 125.
Yeah, 125. That's a little bit of heat. Of course, the conditions at night better for Sampras because, as we know, in the heat, sometimes he can have trouble and get tired. That won't be a factor tonight. Another ace for Sampras.
Nothing has bothered him yet. He's got the early break, and he's held on twice. So it's 3 games to love. Sampras, first set. Costa's from a small town called Lerida in Spain, and then he moved to Barcelona when the player development program there in Spain coaxed him to the big city. He's got an apartment now in Barcelona, not far from the Real Club. Called good, and Costa hesitates.
Well, here those big high backhands from Sampras. That one a little short, but he's keeping Costa pinned behind the baseline with those deep backhands and then setting up, giving him time to rip the forehand for winners. People don't realize how heavy Sampras's backhand is and how it sets up so many shots for him. There's the first ace for Albert Costa.
Yeah.
Well, you can hear Sampras there, Cliff, say great length. Sarcastically, knowing he didn't get that one deep enough. And if you don't get it deep enough against this guy Costa, this is what he can do. He can step in, crank the forehand for a winner. Well, Pete knows he's got to roll that backhand deep. The problem you face as a player, Cliff, when you're playing Sampras is when he's hitting his backhand well and deep and heavy, what do you attack?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can't attack his forehand. Oh.
But you know what I like about his backhand, Patrick, is that you saw it in that point there. He hit 5 of them, or 4 of them. 2 of them were sliced, the approach shot included.
Right.
2 of them were topspins, and you never know which one is coming.
And look where that slice landed, right in the corner, and then when he gets the overhead, you can kiss it goodnight. Look how he gets the racket prepared. See how he kind of moves it around and keep his rhythm. See, now Costa starts to force too much because the backhand's deep there on the return. He's saying, wait a second, I'm going to his backhand, but I'm not getting many short balls. Let me try to surprise him and go to the forehand. If you don't hit that well enough, guess what? Winner cross court from Sampras.
Deuce.
There it is again.
Plus it's worth, what, a point a game? Maybe not that much, but just that you're playing the #1 player in the world.
Well, when he's on his game like he is now, it's definitely worth that, because then it becomes that much more difficult to find a chink in his armor.
Set point. He's waiting for call. That's dangerous. Sampras will look at that baseline judge for sure. He stopped playing in the middle of that point, looking for a call, and he didn't get it.
Well, you think Pete Sampras isn't an intense competitor? I mean, if you saw his reaction right after that point, actually screamed at the lines person, and he's up 5-2 in set point. He wants to just bury Costa.
Oh, yeah, he said that before. He said, look, I look kind of lackadaisical there.
Oh.
Someone I don't care. He said, but
Yeah.
don't believe it. Inside, I'm burning. I didn't hear what he said.
He said, well done to the lines person there. Well done, well done. It gives him another set point, second set point here.
2-5. A look from Sampras again, but he's not going to get any help from chair umpire Bruno Robert. The last time they played these two, in fact, they've only ever played once, was the French Championships. It was before Costa really made his move, and Sampras won it easily. Ace.
Third ace for
Three
Costa.
now, yeah.
Yep, 3 aces. He needs every one of those. He needs some free points.
Game point.
Sampras' serve seems to be on tonight. Or when isn't it on, right?
Trying for that slice down the line deep again. That one goes just a little long. And it is game to Costa, 5-3 now.
Well, good effort by Costa to hang on there, because Sampras is all over him. Got a bit of a break on that set point, that first set point call. Sampras so far serving 76% first serves.
Manolito Santana lost to him in the U.S. Open final, called U.S. Nationals, actually. He's the man on the left of your screen.
And on the right next to him there, that's Lorenzo Fargas, Costa's coach. Twiddling his thumbs, getting rid of those flies. The Australian salute there, get the flies away.
Santana's Davis Cup captain.
Another ace from Sampras.
30 loves Sampras. I was telling him the other day that he could have 3 Davis Cup teams from Spain now.
Definitely.
And they'd all be in the world group.
This service action right at the top of the ball. Ace number 6 just on the line. You were in the finals of the Open, huh, Cliff?
Yeah.
Good job back there.
But I could never handle Santana.
It's a lot of feel, huh?
Yeah, he had
unbelievable
too much,
touch he had.
He won Wimbledon also.
You got that big backhand, though.
Yeah. Wasn't enough for this guy.
There's Manola.
He used to laugh at it.
Oh, there's too much heat from Sampras on the backhand. Second serve setting that up. The big kicking serve. Costa hit the return short. Sampras eats it up. Gives him 3 more set points now.
That one sails. He's got another couple.
Very humid conditions tonight out here at Cliff. We had a lot, as we talked about, a lot of rain today. The roof was closed for the day matches. Muster beating Ivan Isavic kind of surprised both of us. Very humid in here tonight, but certainly great conditions. Cool, no wind. Great for Sampras.
Oh, that is long. Sampras looking at that line person.
Made sure he got that call.
That's right. Sampras wins the first set. 1 break to serve is all he needed. It's 6-3 to Sampras. watching the Australian Open on ESPN, and we welcome you warmly. The women's singles has got only 4 players left. 128 started. They are Kutzer, Piers, Hingis, and Fernandez. There are 3 spots filled in the men's division. It's Musta, Moya, Chang, and it's going to be Sampras or Costa, depending on who wins this one. We're in the second set. Sampras won the first behind 1 break of serve on the first serve game of Costa's in the match. It's 5 games to 4 Costa, 15 love to Sampras. Cliff Drysdale here sitting next to Patrick McEnroe.
He loves that one. He loves to do that, baby. That scissor kick. Check this out. Watch this little jump. He did this against Woodford on match point. See how many inches he gets up there. Ooh, nice little jump. Oh, yeah, that wasn't bad. That's pretty good.
He's got to be 2-3 feet in the air when he makes it.
He was laughing today. I was hitting with him, having a little warm-up with him, and I tried one of those, and he started laughing. He goes, yeah, Pat, you were up about 3 inches, he said. I said, hey, thanks, Pete. He saves it for the matches, though. He doesn't do it in practice.
(40-15).
40-15.
It's not a good idea, by the way, to try that at home.
Definitely not.
It's like trying to throw a stone from a rowboat. Sampras holds on, and it is 5 games all. Paul Anacone is one of the classiest guys in tennis, and Pete Sampras one of the classiest guys in tennis, and they chose each other after the just sad death of Pete Sampras' coach, Tim Gullickson.
That's another one of the classiest guys in tennis, Tim, of course, Cliff, and we all miss him. His brother, Tom Gullickson, was here earlier for the first week. He's our Davis Cup captain. We'll be going down to Brazil for the first match in a couple weeks.
On the line, and that's an excellent shot. Now look out here. Sampras has love 30 in this game. Two gladiators with 2 thoughts on their minds. Costa knows he's in deep trouble. Sampras wants to pounce. Uh-oh. That's the second racket that has gone in this match now.
Yeah.
Is there a way to avoid that, Patrick?
Not with Pete. No, that's one of the things that he has to accept because he uses very, very thin gauge gut and strings it extremely tight. And the gut that he uses is so thin so he can get more spin and more pace on the ball. And that's one of the things that he has to accept when he does play. He knows it's going to happen. He had a chance, actually, in that point to win it a little earlier with the big forehand, but Costa did some great defending there to stay in the point.
He's quick, isn't he, Costa?
Incredibly quick. That was huge right there because that would have given Sampras love 40.
It's 15-30. That's a well-played point, isn't it? He just kept banging it into the backhand side, waiting for his opportunity, and when he got one wide enough, he crept in.
Well, that's what Pete Sampras, controlling the center of the court. You see him there? He's pestering the back, and that one he finally waits, and he sees the opportunity, and he keeps pounding it. And when he's just a little bit right at the center of the court there, to the left, so much trouble.
Set point. Excuse me, break point. He saves one.
Well, might as well be set well with the way Sampras has been serving so far.
He hasn't lost his serve yet.
A.Costa. Interesting to see if he tries to kick it out wide safely, or will he go for a free point and go for the big one up the middle. He's thinking about that right now. He's standing. Look where he's standing. So outside the court, he's going to go.
Sampras is too. He got it. Half volley for the winner. Man, that was an unbelievable point.
It was unbelievable. It started with Costa going way out wide on the serve to kick it. He got the easy forehand, controls the point. Great recovery from Sampras here. And watch this backhand. I thought this was a winner. Costa reaches out, and great hands there. Huge point.
That's why. Game point now for Costa. Costa wins 3 in a row.
And the crowd kind of hissing about that call, but that ball just skipped the line. See Pete taking a look at it. If it was out, he would have argued it, believe me. It just skipped the line. So game point for Costa.
That is a terrific game and comeback from Costa. He's showing Pete Sampras that he's maybe going down, but it's not going to be easy. He's down the set. He's up in the second set, 6-5.
This is the best that tennis has to offer right here, Cliff.
You got that right.
I think we found out why your friend Manolo Santana thinks Costa has the most potential this Spanish that last game.
Yeah. Now, he truly gives equal billing, though, to Carlos Moya, because the same reason that you said. The guy's got every shot in the book. He can come in. He can put the volleys away as well. The quality of this match, though, defined by the winners for both players, higher than the unforced errors on a relatively slow court.
Yeah, that's always incredible, especially on, like you said, a slow court. Because to hit a clean winner against either of these guys, you have to hit basically a perfect shot. He closes that off nicely. Costa just can't quite track it down. But see, that ball right there doesn't go up as a winner.
Right.
Because Costa got his racket on it.
30 love.
Costa just can't even get a sniff on the Sampras serve.
He hasn't had a break point yet.
Not even close to one. 36 out of 40 points for Sampras when he gets the first serve in. 37 out of 41. I'm good at math.
You sure? That's what I was thinking. There's Manolito. Spent some time on Key Biscayne in Florida, not far from the Lipton Championships. But Spain is home for him, southern Spain. He's got a beautiful place down there. Anyway, here is Pete Sampras, and he is looking to try to go up 2-0. To do that, he has to win this tiebreak. Costa to serve.
Oh, that's a beautiful backhand from Costa. Tremendous racket speed. Sets it up with a good first serve.
12 and 19 in tiebreaks for Costa. That's not a good number compared to Sampras' 25 and 18.
Well, that's probably why right there that Sampras has a good tiebreak record. He's got the big first serve, and he can pull that out when he needs it. What you know, to be honest with you, Cliff, I don't think the tiebreak records, I don't know how much that really means right now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's huge. You see Costa stepping up on the baseline. Santana likes that one. Watch the way Costa's right on the baseline. Deep. Sampras behind the court. He steps around this one. Goes to the open court. He knows he has to hit a winner into the Sampras corner, especially on the forehand, and he does it.
Mini break. 2-1 Costa. 3-1 Costa.
Well, that's the kind of point Costa loves right there, when he can hit the ball deep to the backhand side and force an error. That almost gives him more confidence, Cliff, than a clean winner, because that means he's breaking down the guy a little bit.
Yeah.
I always like to say, if you can force the guy into making errors, that it gives you more confidence. There it is again.
Talk about confidence. He has so much confidence in the forehand. When he winds up, you know that he knows he's not going to miss it.
It's amazing, isn't it? The guy will never miss a forehand like that. That's kind of mid-court. That's floating pretty easily.
His mechanics are perfect.
Unbelievable racket speed and balance.
Just the right amount of topspin. What was that? Wasn't that the orange juice commercial where they used to say it's not just for breakfast anymore, I guess? Costa is saying that forehand is not good just for clay courts anymore.
Oh, that's for sure. And he can hit it on any surface. And this surface, we talked about, a little slower, and the ball sits up nicely, Cliff. It bounces up and right into his strike zone. Gives him that little extra time. Just the courts at the U.S. Open a little bit faster. The ball goes through the court a bit quicker. Sampras keeps the pressure on him, winning those 2 points on his serve, but Costa still has the mini break. He knows he needs both these points. The way Sampras is serving. There it is again. Sets it up with a great serve, pulling Sampras out of court.
Sampras has got to realize soon that just getting the ball back now into the forehand is not good enough.
Nope, if he doesn't get it back deep enough or with enough pace, this guy is deadly. Watch what Costa does, Cliff, after the serve. He'll move over so he can get the forehand. He'll quickly take a couple steps to his left, looking for the forehand. And there it is.
It missed. And so Costa's got set points. 3.
6-3. See where you're stepping over to hit that forehand? He moves right over there after the serve. And some people think, well, he should just hit it into his forehand corner. You got to hit an unbelievable return to get it away from his forehand. So now 3 set points for Costa. There's one. Oh, no. That looked good to me.
Yeah, Costa signaled wide, but I agree with you. I thought it clipped the line. Second serve, set point. He was so far back, he just didn't make an allowance for it. And now he has a set point on his own serve. There's only been 1 point against serve in this tiebreak. It clipped the outside edge of the line, but that's enough in tennis, and Costa has won the second set against Pete Sampras. It is 1-all. First set to Sampras 6-3, second set to Costa in the tiebreak.
It's Australian Open time, and I hope you're enjoying this match. If you're not, then tennis is probably not your thing. It has been great stuff. Tiebreak, second set. And it goes to Costa. Take a look at this last point, Patrick.
I couldn't believe when he went for this drop shot. I was like, I couldn't believe this. And then Sampras gets to it. He's incredibly quick, pushes it well down the line. Costa has to thread the needle because Sampras is covering the line, and he does it. Look at his slow-mo. Unbelievable shot. He just rips it. He loves that backhand up the line. Oh, what a shot from Costa. He can do it on both sides, Cliff. We've seen his big forehand, but he showed under pressure that he can hit the backhand, too.
Sabine Appelman's hit a drop shot against Mary Pierce, and she said she's going to dream about it for the rest of her life because it was a terrible thing to do at the time that she tried it. She said that this morning to Fred, and I remember the shot very well. She feels like it cost her the match, and it probably did against Pierce. And I truly thought that Costa had made a mistake by going for the drop shot.
I did, too, because Sampras is so quick off the mark. He's got maybe one of the fastest first steps of anybody, and he got to that ball. Played a good shot, but what a big ball by Costa up the line. So, 1-all.
30 love Sampras. That is his 14th ace.
I guess you could go cross-court with the backhand, too, Cliff.
Listen, I remember the match that he played with Thomas Muss at the French Championships very well, the year that Muster won it. He was hitting shots like that all over the place.
And look where he was on the court. He was almost at the
dead run.
The lines person back there. That's a good kick there from Sampras. Still mixing it up, still thinking, not just going for the bomb every time on the first. But I'll tell you, the way Costa's playing off the ground now, Pete needs the big serve. He needs the free points.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that is exactly why he does now. The chips are really down. You know, the hands, the poker hands are on the table, and it's not difficult to understand the process here. Sampras knows, as you just said, he's going to have to go for more winners. All. One game to love Sampras. It was an unseeded Carlos Moya who's been the story of this championship. He took on a fellow Spaniard, Felix Mantilla, seeded number 14 in the quarterfinals of the men's singles. Mantilla had his moments, but was no match for Moya. He's really been the Cinderella story of the tournament. Look at this. Moya upset the defending champion, Boris Becker, in the first round. And he defeated Mantilla in 4 sets, 7-5, 6-2. Served for it in the third set, but won it 6-2 in the fourth. Moya advances to the semifinals. Moya will take on Chang. Now you are watching the Australian Open quarterfinal, the final one of the tournament, as Pete Sampras of the USA takes on A.Costa of Spain. 1-all
1 game to love Sampras. Costa serving, 15 love Costa. Cliff Drysdale here. Patrick McEnroe alongside.
Costa hitting winners off both sides now, and that's because Sampras not getting the ball deep enough on the back. And as you said, Cliff, he can't be content with just pushing that return back and landing it short, because Costa, he'll eat it up on both sides.
Costa serving, top of your screen. Sampras receiving.
I think we may see Pete start to do a little bit more of that, Cliff, when he gets the backhand, chip it, keep it low against Costa, because Costa doesn't like those low balls with the big whippy ground strokes. You might have to do that to get Costa out of his rhythm, force play a little more.
It's easy to say that I was just thinking that, but let me say it. I was just thinking that.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's tough when the guy's getting a good first serve, and then look how deep he is behind the court. He's about 5 feet behind the baseline, and he hits a routine winner up the line.
And point. No slouch in the passing shot department either, 40-30. The Spanish boys all, throughout December, were heading around Barcelona. They've got about 14 or so hard courts around the city area, and they were playing on hard courts for the entire month. They have 1 indoor hard court in the city. Good. One game all, 1 set all, it's dead even.
Like you see that landing too short, and Costa able to run around it, and Pete disappointed with himself because early in the match he was getting that backhand deep cross court. But now in the last set and a half, it's been landing a lot shorter, and that gives Costa the ability to control the points and then hit the winners.
Patrick, control of the points is the key. Hour and a half. Oh, this match. A lot of help from the net, and he'll take every little bit he can get. 15 low.
You're right, he sees the opening here and tries to flatten it out up the line. And Costa, he was going to be there in plenty of time for that. Well, if Pete's having a little trouble with his foot or his ankle or something, he seems to be kind of shaking it out, favoring a little bit. Here he tries that kick again, but Costa reads it. Good slice up the line. And Pete seems to be, I don't know, maybe favoring a little bit. A couple of the last points I've noticed in between points.
He was walking a little gingerly there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just, sometimes you just kind of go over it slightly a little bit and it's not real serious. That may be what happened there. I'm just trying to shake it out, move it around a little bit.
We'll watch him at the next changeover and see if he attends to it at all. 30-15. This is really a beautiful matchup here because you've got Sampras serving great. He still has not had any break points against him, has he?
No,
not only has he not lost his serve, he hasn't even had break points against him, but he's 1 set all.
But Costa's starting to get a few more returns back in play, especially on the first serve. And it just shows that the match, the level of play is increasing.
Yep. Very strong stuff and beautiful to watch. You have two contrasting styles here, the power of Sampras and the ground game of Spain's #1 player. We'll be back. Quarterfinal action at the Australian Open today on center court with the roof closed. Number 5 seed Thomas Muster met up with the number 3 seed Goran Ivanisevic. Muster rolled from the beginning, taking the first set 6-4. Goran had 54 unforced errors. And that was his downfall, the king of clay, showing that he can play on hard courts as well. Muster in straight set 6-4, 6-2, 6-3. He's in the semifinals. He'll take on the winner of the match that you're watching now between Sampras and Costa. We are in the third set now. It's 1 set all, 2 sets, 2 games to 1 for Sampras.
You know, just to quickly touch on that match, Muster and Ivanisevic. I mean, Ivanisevic tried to come into net a lot more than he's used to and a lot more than he would like to. And I think part of the reason is because he had that 5-set match 2 days ago in the heat. And I think he was still a little bit tired from that match and therefore rushed to play a little bit too much against Muster. And Muster, the guy's an animal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That just clips the line. The reason I bring that up is because Pete Sampras had the same conditions the other day, played the same time as Ivanisevic, had a 5-setter as well in that incredible heat, that 2-3 day heat wave that we had. So if this match goes on longer, that could affect Sampras, although I think, you know, obviously we've seen the guy recover amazingly well before in his career.
There are 2 guys that are really, well, more than that, but 2 guys that are especially soul-destroying to play against. And if you're not ready to play, then don't go out there against Thomas Muster, because he'll make you work. The other one is Michael Chang.
Well, no doubt about it. I mean, both those guys, and both those guys have improved their game so much on the serve, the first serve, bigger first serve, the ability to finish points, and especially short balls, and at the net. And you got to give credit to Muster for doing that.
Yeah,
I mean,
do.
People badmouth him and say this and that, or he can only play on clay.
Terrific stuff. And look at the reaction from Sampras.
Well, Pete's getting into it now because he realizes that Costa is not going to go away, and he's going to have to produce his best tennis. And he does it on that point. Great stab volley. Here it is right here. He sets it up. Actually, didn't get that wide enough. Costa has time. He gets a little mixed up at the net there, but what a stab.
All right, he's taken the 38th steps, and now he's got to take the 39th and get the break. Second serve, 15-40, 2-1 Sampras. Now, I think that was the right play. Slight mishit, though.
Yeah, I think it was the right play, but maybe he should have sliced it, because that one, I mean, if he'd hit that real solid and firm, but Costa just enough time, and he could rip that passing shot.
He's broken once. He's had 6 chances.
Get the slice. Keep it low on Costa. Or hit the clean winner. How about that, Cliff?
Sampras gets the break. That's the second break of the match. He broke Costa and Costa's first serve game of the day. Look at this again.
Well, there's not that many guys in the world, Cliff. Not many at all. Look at the intensity from Sampras that can step up on a big point and say, I'm going to pull the trigger, I'm going to go for it, and pull it off.
3 games to 1 Sampras now. Third set, 1 set all.
Man, is that big, because the way Sampras is serving, he could serve this set out. That one break. You know, so often when he gets that break early in the set, He's serving well. He conserves his energy on the return games.
You know, it says a heck of a lot for his serve, Patrick, that he has not let this man who returns so well and who's so quick. I mean, he bases his game on breaking serve.
Yeah.
And he hasn't had a break point against him.
Not even close.
How big was that tie break now?
Oof.
30 low.
Easy Pete blowing that one out again. He's 2 in a row he's blown out. You know, when he comes in and the ball's going, gets that little, get out of here, he says. He's picking it up. He says the middle of the second week of a Grand Slam, that's when I start shifting. Paul Anacone was a little bit about doing well at the Australian. Won the doubles here.
That's his first double fault.
That's amazing. Only 1 double, 14 aces, serving 73% first serves for the match.
That, to me, is the most remarkable statistic of the day.
Incredible.
Do you suffer a letdown after getting a break?
Yeah, well, this is the closest Costa's been on Pete's serve, I think, 30 all, Cliff.
Yeah.
Let's see what Pete does if he pulls out another bomb.
Does it stay at 49 or do we advance it to 50?
Unbelievable second serve, if you don't mind my saying so. It was 150 Ks, under 100 miles an hour, but it was wide and it was deep, basically on 2 lines. It's risky.
I certainly don't mind you saying so. No, Cliff, that was that was an unbelievable second serve. That's what I'm talking about, Sampras. It's 30 all. He knows it's a huge point. Costa desperately needs a break back, and he could go for it and pull it off.
Sampras knows how important this stage of the match is. He lost his second set to Costa. He is really pumped up, and he's leading now in the 3rd set, 4-1. Sampras has the lead with a break, 4-1. In the 3rd set, it's 1-all after Costa won the 2nd set in the tie break. 2 of hockey's best teams face off. The streaking Philadelphia Flyers face the Red Wings on the Deuce. That's tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. You hockey fan?
Hey, the Legion of Doom, the Flyers. I'm a Ranger fan, though. You know, in New York,
I understand.
Big rivalry, Rangers, Flyers. Can't quite think of hockey right now when we're down in Australia, though. 100 degrees, you know. Everyone back home in New York and the East Coast and freezing back there. It's nice out in California, though, isn't it?
I'm sure it is. It always is. 4-1, Sampras with a break.
What an interesting stat, I mean, just looking at here, Cliff, is that in addition to all the aces Sampras has 14, he's got 9 service winners, so that's 25 free points. Costa's got 4 aces, but no service winners. Well, there's one right there. That's his first one, actually, when you miss the return. And what that tells you about Sampras, that he doesn't give you anything, Cliff. He makes you play on your serve.
So glad you could join us today at the Australian Open Championships, because this has been a terrific match. It's Pete Sampras taking on A.Costa of Spain, the top player from Spain. It's the last quarterfinal match of the tournament to fill a spot in the semifinals. First set went to Pete Sampras, and then Costa, without breaking Sampras' serve all day, but he won the second set in a tie break, and now it's 4-1. Sampras has the break in the third. 30-all.
That's what I was talking about earlier, Cliff. When he played that other return, he came over the ball. This time he slices it, and that makes Costa have to hit up. Look at this. Keeps it down, and then it's go nice at shoulder height for Sampras to knock that volley off and give him break point to pretty much put this set away.
So, you know, don't you think tennis is a little bit like the game of chicken, you know? And the first guy to blink is in trouble. And Costa in this set here has begun to blink a little.
Well, some of that is because, you know, I mean, obviously Sampras is serving incredibly well. But as I said, Costa only one service winner. That means Sampras, he's always going to make you play. I mean, Costa obviously is going to play. He's going to win a lot of baseline rallies with a lot of big forehands. But he knows, Cliff, that every service game he has, it's not going to be easy. Exactly.
Sampras serving for the set now at 5-1.
And as you said, I mean, and as the match wears on, that starts to take its toll on a guy. And Sampras keeps pounding down those serves. Yep, there's another one.
$15 aces for Sampras against 4.
Oh, yeah. You know when that one's coming that he's going to rip that forehand.
That's like an automatic.
Pete's going to change rackets again. This one's about to break, probably the string, so he figures, why don't I just get a fresh one, not have it break when I'm serving for the set. See, this too short. Costa steps into it, cranks it about 2 inches from the baseline. Clean winner. That's 14 forehand winners for Costa. And a lot of others where he forced mistakes from Sampras with his forehand.
Costa, he reminds me, we were promoting soccer, weren't we, on ESPN a little while ago. He reminds me of a soccer player. 5'11", stocky, quick.
He's got that build, you know, with those big legs and great steps, great small steps, and you can run all day.
But he's in trouble here. 30-15, Sampras, 5-1, third set.
Oh.
Now set points for Sampras.
Such a great serve to be able to hit that one hard and wide when you're a right-hander into that court. You know he can hit the one up the middle, but gets that one wide and flat. Not many guys that can pull that off consistently. A couple backhand errors from Pete on those 2 set points. Seen that many of those tonight. behind the cone, taking a couple notes. Pete, you missed 2 backhands on set point. I'm sorry, Paul, but I came out with the 8.
Set point. His third. Pete Sampras has now got a 2-set-to-1 lead over this man, Costa of Spain, at the Australian Open. Sampras is really looking at the history books. He has a 2-set-to-1 lead here against A.Costa of Spain. Roy Emerson has more Grand Slam singles titles than anyone at 12. Borg with 11, Laver with 11, and he might have got more had he not turned pro and lost 5 years to amateur tennis. Tilden 10. But Sampras is looking for another Grand Slam here. I can't imagine he's not going to win Wimbledon at least another once or twice. I think he will be an all-time leader.
You think he's going to pass Emerson?
I really think he has a very good shot at doing so.
You're right.
There are only 4 players who can beat him at Wimbledon, with a really good chance to beat him at Wimbledon.
The big servers.
Yeah, the guys like Krajicek,
right.
even Izovic.
Maybe Agassi if he gets into it a little bit mentally.
Yeah, but he's a big question right now. How much does he want it? He's proved that he's #1 player in the world, or was able to get there.
Oh, great forehand from Costa, right inside the line. Important time for Costa now to solidify himself early in the 4th. As we saw when he got down the early break in the 3rd, Sampras just ran away with it. He's got to stay with him here in the 4th.
Game point.
Now he gets him out of court, and then this Costa does well to actually keep this low. Sampras finds the opening up the line. That's his first backhand winner tonight, Cliff.
Yeah.
But as I said before, when he doesn't look to hit winners with his backhand. He looks to hit heavy, deep balls and then set up for the forehand. Oh, there's a beautiful backhand up the line.
Costa of Spain is on the board in the 4th set. 1 game to love, but he's down 2-sets-to-1 to the top seedie at the Australian this year, Pete Sampras. One of the big stories at this Australian Open, Belgium. Here is Mary Pierce. This took place earlier. Unseeded Mary Pierce, applauding the efforts of her opponent, Belgian Sabine Appelman. There's a look at Sabine. Sabine took the first set, 6-1. But Mary Pierce came back. A strong performance in the 2nd set, 6-4. Battle to the end, though. Final set took close to an hour. An excited Mary Pierce, who has won this championship before. Watch this. He was down 3-love in the last set, but came back, and Mary Pierce is in the semi-finals of the Australian Open. Sampras serving. He's down 1-love, 4th set.
You know, our friend up in the booth here takes care of us, Lynn Evans up here. She was sitting next to Sabine Appelman on the bus coming over from the hotel, and Sabine said, I still can't believe I tried that drop shot on match point. So thanks for that info, Lynn. Sabine will be thinking about that, but what a great performance from her. The other Belgian, Van Roos.
She hit a drop shot earlier in the match that was even worse.
Costa knows he's not getting many chances on the Sampras serve. Had love 15 second serve there. So That's why he's a little upset. Because he knows that big serve is going to come in. When you're playing against a big serve and you get up a point, you get up love 15 or 15-30, and you get a look at his second serve, you want to make it work. You want to make it count because you know that big serve is going to come in. Sampras knocks off the volley.
Sampras, by the way, said earlier in this tournament that he thought that the balls were softer than previous years. He said, look, let's just get on and play the tournament. He said it doesn't really matter, but
well, it doesn't matter to him.
No.
Because he's got it all. He's got the power. He's got the ability to rally, and it's harder actually to get the ball past him with softer balls. You know, he still has enough power on his serve that he can hit aces with grapefruits, Cliff. So it doesn't make that much of a difference to him. And he hits the ball very heavy with a lot of spin. You notice the guys in the semis, Muster, Moya, Chang. No coincidence there. Ball definitely helping them. Definitely helping Moya and Muster.
No doubt about it.
Chang plays great with fast balls on fast courts, too.
1 game all.
It's definitely helping guys that hit with heavy spin and that wait for the ball a little more. It's difficult to play attacking tennis where you say chip and charge or hit flat and come in.
Temperature is way down today, so the conditions for playing are much kinder to Pete Sampras, who has been known to wilt in the heat in the past.
Oh, he's just flipping the tape on that.
Having said that, though, he played that 5-setter with Dominic Harbati and beat him in 5 sets.
Well, the conditions totally different that day, Cliff. During the heat, when the balls move a little bit quicker, and Sampras doesn't feel like he has enough time, or as much as he has, and say at night, like right now, when he played Woodford. I mean, he said, you know, in the press conference the other day, it's like playing 2 different tournaments here. If you play at night, if you play during the day.
The ball bounces differently on the court, there's no question.
Yeah, conditions are so different depending on the weather.
That was an overrule. Bruno Rebeu in the chair.
Pete wants to know if Bruno's calling the lines, he said. Is he calling the lines?
A little facetiousness in that question. Too good by Costa. He is leading by 2-1 in the 4th set. He's down by 2-7-1. Australian Open Championships is what you are watching. The last U.S. player in the women's field is this young lady, Mary Jo Fernandez. She will take on Martina Hingis in the semi-finals of the Australian Open, first Grand Slam of the year. Our coverage of the Australian Open continues. Women's semi-final action tonight on ESPN2, 12:30 a.m. Eastern Time. 12 seed Amanda Kutzer, Mary Pierce, and Martina Hingis, and the U.S.'s Mary Jo Fernandez.
Pretty amazing when you think about the women's field, the way it's opened up, and you know, with Graf and dominating, she's always around in the finals of the Grand Slam. Celis, if it's not her, Sanchez Vicario, and now you have really 4 completely new faces in there. It's pretty exciting for the women.
I think it's sort of nice.
Pierce, the only one out of those 4 to even have won a Grand Slam, and she won once here at the Australian Open.
Conchita Martinez also out. Celis didn't show. She was injured. Sanchez Vicario lost, so did Graf to Amanda Kutzer. Pete Sampras has dominated with serve, as we said. He hasn't had a break point against him. He's got a very, very high first serve percentage, 67, although it's gone down just a little bit here of late. But 90% of points won on first serve. So when he gets it in, he is the dominator.
You got that right, Cliff. But you're right, it has gone down a little bit early. Well, maybe in the second set, third set, it was like around 75%.
Yeah,
so
he was 3 out of 4.
Costa's getting a couple, you know, he's getting a little more of a chance. He's got 30 all. I mean, that's the best he can say. There's another bomb. And the best he's had is 30 all, Costa. And deuce at one game when Sampras was serving for the set. Sampras made a couple errors, and then guess what he did from deuce on?
It's amazing, actually.
Ace, ace.
Amazing. Against a mortal human being, a shot like that would very often win it. But watch what Sampras, how he treats this.
Well, he's just so quick at the net. So he does a little split step, and then he reacts quickly to the Costa forehand cross court and just pushes it into the open court.
Is he the best volleyer in tennis, Patrick? Sampras, now that Edberg's gone.
I'm not sure about that, Cliff.
Michael Steek,
maybe a little bit. Steek, maybe Becker. No, probably Sampras. Yeah, I think you're probably right. So it's funny because now that Edberg's gone, I got to think about that a little bit. You know? It's a good question. You got me thinking, Cliff. Before it was like, oh yeah, Edberg.
Chain point.
I think you're right. I mean, when the chips are down, Sampras, you know, he gets down. Sometimes he looks a little lazy. He doesn't really get down low that much. But when it's a big volley, he usually has perfect technique.
Sampras holds on. It is 2 games all in the 4th set. The problem for Costa, as you well know, is that here he is battling, relatively speaking, to hold serve, and he hasn't had a break point on Sampras' serve. Believe me, he knows that.
No, he knows it. See them just behind him in their match, just over 2 hours old, 2:05. Yeah, I guess he is the best volleyer. After that touch, he's got great touch and great little drop volleys. And Pete's sensing now if he can put the pressure on Costa here early and secure that early break, he can serve it out again like he did in the 3rd set. Now a second serve to look at. And run around and hit that big forehand.
Yeah, that's too long.
Yeah. Good kick from Costa. Kicked it up high. You can see it was right up around Pete's shoulder, even above his shoulders. If you just hold up your arm and you try to push from down low, or you push from up high, you feel that you have more strength when you're down low. It's just like that when you're playing tennis.
Wide.
Lendl was really the first guy who started to be able to develop a strong, heavy topspin backhand from up high. You know, off the high kicking ball, he was really able to rip it and come over it. Sampras can do that now, too.
Pretty loose game here from Sampras on the return. You were saying also during the day, Patrick, when you play on these courts, that it bites a little more and ball gets higher.
Yes,
right?
definitely. Definitely.
Game point.
And that would favor Costa, I think.
Yeah, it would, because he could get that ball up into the shoulder area.
Yep.
That one sails, and they will change hands on serve with Costa ahead 3 games to 2. Sampras leading 2 sets to 1. Quarterfinals of the Australian Open is what you're watching. The winner here will be in the semifinals. And he'll be introduced to Thomas Muster.
Great shot there, her hitting that back in a match point. Do you say she closed her eyes when she hit that? It's unbelievable. Hingis is so good, she just closed her eyes right when she hits it. Love the way she takes the ball early and hits those little swinging volleys out of the air. She got a great feel for the game.
I agree. I think this whole women's field with some of the better-known names out is more exciting. 3-2 Costa.
Cliff, watch this again. Watch this. I might try this in my backhand. Maybe this would help us. Look at Hingis. Watch, she's getting ready to hit match point. But she closes her eyes on that. It's pretty good. She says, yeah, okay, it's good. I got it right in the corner. Semifinals.
Great little player, I tell you that. I think you should try it, Patrick. Heck,
I might as
the
well.
way things are going with you.
No kidding. The way Moya beat up on me. It wasn't such a bad loss, though, considering how he's playing now.
I am just kidding, folks. Patrick is playing very well. He's in good shape now. Little shoulder surgery last year, out for most of the year.
I'm coming back. I'm feeling better.
He is back.
I'm back.
40 loves Sampras. Down 2-3.
Another easy service game for Pete. There's another ace up the middle. That's number 20.
You know, he is pretty... We talked about the heat and all of that 20 aces, but he is not injured. I mean, he seems to be in pretty good health.
Pretty fresh, you know. He had a few problems with his arm a little early in the week and his shoulder. I think a lot of that's just the balls, but just a little soreness, nothing major.
3 games all, 2-1 Sampras.
I mean, it's rare, Cliff, and you know from playing as well, that you don't have a little something here and there that's bothering you. But it's something that tennis players and athletes deal with, and obviously nothing serious for Pete right now. Ooh, wanted that return. Love 15, just a kick serve there. One of the few times that Pete hasn't made him play. A.Costa now. He's got to dig deep. 3-all.
15-all.
If he gets broken here, it could be history.
Sampras just striding the court like a colossus, got to that shot. But Costa is so used to it. This is a clay court of sensibility, and he knew where it was going. Watch.
You're exactly right, Cliff. Look how he just kind of steps, fakes, and goes back and controls that well. He knew he had to get that very far across court. Look where Sampras is. Now Pete misses the return off that, and he's questioning that call. The kick serve wide. Pete not happy with that call.
And he's saying, just let me get out of here.
Yeah, get the camera off me.
Who, me? Well, change ends, no breaks to serve in this set yet. Pete Sampras got a couple in the third, so he leads by 2-1. It's 4-3 Costa.
Hey, Cliff, you hear Dennis Rodman got suspended in the NBA? I think he maybe showed up down in Australia. No, I don't think. No, I guess not. I guess not.
I think Jay might consider that color next time he wants to change his hair color. All right, it's 4-3, 2-1. Sampras leads. Costa ahead, though, in the fourth set on serve. Drop shot. He's lethal when it comes to passing shots.
Unbelievable control and unbelievable wrist action. Look at this drop shot. Sampras gets to it pretty easily, pushes it deep. And watch the wrist. Look at the little flick of the wrist there, and that was deep. Sampras pushed that deep. He must be going, what do I got to do? He's gotten to every drop shot easily, And Costa's come up with some unbelievable replies.
That is long, albeit pretty close, and Sampras, for the first time in the match, is in trouble on his serve.
Well, great return from Costa just to get his racket on it, and then help the linesman calling it out. I don't think Pete liked that too much.
Yeah.
He gave a little extra look over there.
I was thinking the same thing.
Players don't like it too much when the other guy tries to call the ball out. Anyway, love 30 now. Costa, his first real chance to break.
Now he has not only one, but 3 break points. Manolo Santana won Wimbledon and the U.S. Open. Sampras saves 1. 2 to go. It's 15-40.
And he had to come up with a great volley there because Costa's starting to read Sampras' serve a little bit. Good job to get that back into play and had a good look at the backhand pass. Sampras read it. Ooh. He's getting his racket on those, Cliff, though.
Yeah, but that's a great first serve from Sampras. It wasn't that hard. He was going for the angle on it. Now what does he do? Wide to the backhand. Oh, it's good. He served it into the forehand side. Costa chipped it back on the line, and Costa has the breaker serve. He'll serve for the set, and that will make it 2 sets apiece if he holds on here. Watch this again.
It's an unbelievable chip there. Look at Pete trying to blow that one out, and it didn't work. Here it is. That's his first break of the match, and now trying to even it up and force a 5th set here.
Errors, relatively speaking, for the match for Costa now. 24, more than balanced by 35 clean winners. Love 15.
There's another clean winner, Cliff, that you're talking about. Huge forehand from Costa. See him step around again after the serve and look for the forehand.
Sampras has 55 winners.
Oh, now Pete, a little frustration there. Going for a big return. Close to 2 points from the 5th set.
30-15, 5-3. Set points for Costa. That's a great shot. The slice approach that you like, Patrick, and then a very solid volley.
Well, you said it, Cliff, and he knows he's got to hit a perfect volley. Actually, comes over that one.
Yeah, it wasn't a slice.
Yeah, and then he slices that volley right in the corner. Still set point.
Ooh, wide deuce.
Oh, Costa knows he had that one. He loves that forehand.
Missed a couple in this game, though.
Santana getting a little concerned now. Back to deuce.
hit on the attempted pass. And Costa, tell you what, he's really taking it to Sampras because he got into the net there. Watch.
It's a great play from Costa. He pushes it deep to Sampras' forehand. A lot of spin on that. See how high it gets up? And that's why Sampras mishits in third set point.
So there's the set for Costa. Well, these players over the last 4 sets have dealt their hands. It's down now to the 5th set. It's time to call the play. 2 sets all. Came out with an early break here, as this is the Australian Open that you're watching, continuing from Melbourne, Australia. And then Costa won the second in the tie-break. Sampras fired very solidly in the 3rd set to take a 2-set-to-1 lead, but Costa broke Sampras for the first time in the 4th set, and now it's level at 2 sets apiece. It is a tremendous 5-set record statistic there for Sampras. Costa 1-4 against 23-8 for Sampras.
Of course, Sampras had one 5-setter already here against her body. That was in the last round. 4 in the 5th, he won that one.
Neither one of these players looks at all tired.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be a real factor tonight, but the match is just 2 hours, 24 minutes old. Neither guy looks like they're at all fatigued. Costa 1-4 his 5-set record. I think that's just inexperience, really, not played that much.
Later he started in life, because Pete Sampras, when he won the U.S. Open, was so young, the youngest ever to win it, actually. 19 years old, I believe.
So 3 of those 5-set matches that Costa had were against Mooster, and they were all on clay, so he actually won one of those. We talked about that when he lost in the finals of the French. Last year, the finals of Monte Carlo, which we saw on ESPN. Oh, great stab from Sampras.
It wasn't the finals of the French. You said
I'm sorry, the finals of the quarters of the French and the finals of Monte Carlo. Yeah. Pete with a good pickup there, tough volley there, and then great reach, uses the frame, and then tips it over. That's getting luck. Pete says, "Oh, maybe this is my night."
Game point, Sampras.
Maybe my 9th Grand Slam title is in the cards.
Sampras holds on first game, 5th set. A.Costa of Spain will serve when we come back. You can hit just about anywhere in Australia from Flinders Street Station. It's very close to this Melbourne Park. It used to be called Flinders Park. Close, I want to say, 1/4 of a mile maybe. Not far at all. An easy walk, in fact. A.Costa has won the 4th set. It is 2 sets all. Costa will serve, trailing 1 game to love in the 5th set.
Well, I think it's good for Sampras to get to actually be serving first in the 5th set, especially because that gives him that little extra room to go for a little bit more, some little more pressure on Costa, because Sampras has been serving so well tonight. Yeah, that ball just explodes off the court. You can't really get a great feel for it watching it at home on TV, but that ball from Costa just comes off the court so fast and with so much spin. That's why Sampras couldn't control that.
15 all. Great shot, helped by a little bit of good fortune again, because it flipped the tape. That's 2 in 2 games.
Well, he really rips this forehand coming in. A.Costa, you can see him flexing his right leg, his ankle a little bit. Just kind of catches in the court and then has to stop quickly. Doesn't run into the umpire stand there. Hobbling just a little bit. It's like his left ankle there, actually.
You know, when you see a guy in full flat like that, and he has to pull up and stop that quickly.
That's hard.
This is hard, a hard sport.
Oh, yeah. You see Costa setting it up, going high to Pete's backhand. And if you don't hit that ball deep or with a lot of spin on it, Costa will unleash that huge forehand. Look at this one. Gets up high. Look where Pete hits it from. Up at his shoulders. Costa steps around. He can go either way with that forehand, as we've seen tonight. Big ace up the middle. So huge points for Costa there. I think it's much more. That's why I say when, you know, it's important for Sampras to get that first game. I think it's more important for him than in a match than I'd say if it was 2 baseliners, Cliff.
Yeah.
I think, you know, when someone like Sampras is serving, he gets up that game on you, so that much more pressure on you when you're serving. Whereas if you're playing a baseline guy or a guy who doesn't serve as big, you know you'll get some chances.
No, there's no doubt about that. I agree.
Back to deuce.
So we are even at 1 game all and 2 sets all. College hoops continuing later tonight on ESPN at 7. Seton Hall takes on the Fighting Irish. And then at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, it'll continue with the Tar Heels struggling a little bit. And they take on Florida State. Sorry to hear the Tar Heels.
Yeah, that's your hometown, right? Your home state, anyway. Yeah. Old Dean will get it together, don't worry. Oh, Pete's got it together with that backhand up the line. Good return from Costa. Chipped it, kept it pretty low. Pete set himself. Ripped the backhand up the line.
15 love. Sampras has been in this delicate position, 5th set, so many times. We'll never forget that match with another Spaniard at the U.S. Open, Alex Correia.
Unbelievable, that match that was. Tiebreaker in the 5th set. Costa, though, I think a little more dangerous than Correia because he's got the big backhand along with the big forehand.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt he's a better player. He's the #1 player from Spain. He's the 10th seed here.
Well, he'll move into the top 10 after this tournament, regardless of what happens tonight in this match. And Moya's not going to be far behind. He could make eventually, after this tournament, be in the top 10 or right around it, depending on how he goes. He's in the semis playing Chang.
And he was unseeded going into the tournament.
Started off 25, I believe. I think he might be a little higher because he did well in Sydney. The warm-up tournament, got to the finals there, did Moya.
Yeah.
And he feels about that one.
Well, Manola said, I used to hit a few of those, too. That's like a squash shot, Cliff. Look at this. I mean, he figures he's out of the point. He hits this hard. Sampras, open court. Look at this. What a flick.
This was at full run, and he says, now, come on, kid.
He said what I said. Come on. You can't do that.
Game point.
Oh, Pete not getting around that forehand quick enough. Not using those quick steps. That's Snyder, Pete's trainer.
He is the man now in the hot seat because he has got to try and make sure that his man Sampras can last through these 5-set matches. Now, as we've said, the heat is not that much of a factor anymore.
I think Pete's in more of a hot seat than Todd right now. Oh, that's a great volley. Great stick on that. Because he knew Costa would run it down. There's that wide serve that you like, Cliff, pulling him out of court, getting in behind it. Here he knows he's got to stick this volley because see Costa's running over there.
High backhand volley, yeah, not that easy a shot either. Oh, there goes the string.
There's another one.
He's going to get the second serve here, not the first serve, because it's his racket.
Right. If it had been Costa's racket that broke, then Pete would get a first serve. He's going to sit down, though. He likes to do this. He usually sits down. No, he didn't sit down that time. Usually he sits, takes a little break.
Now there's one. Now they will go and restring that baby.
I don't think they'll have time now because this is we're in the 5th set, so he better have enough there.
Well, it looked like he did.
About 15, 20 minutes to restring that racket. A fast string job.
Second serve.
Oh, yeah, that's a nice volley, Cliff.
In your face kind of point that, wasn't it? And he holds on, albeit a little delicately. 2-1 Sampras. 2 sets all for a place in the last 4 at this year's Australia. They're also looking for a place in the semis, and this is Costa serving to Sampras.
Oh, that's unbelievable, Cliff. I mean, I was just thinking that's a heavy backhand from Sampras. Good rotation on the ball, good depth. And Costa just steps around it. Unbelievable winner.
When you total up the winners by both players, it adds up to 107. 65 and 42 respectively. Sampras has got the most. That's some serious.
That's amazing because because both these guys can cover the court.
You know what, Costa knew where he was going to go with that one, Patrick. He got out there. That's why he was upset that he didn't make the pass.
Well, he was so deep in the court. Pete just pinpoint accuracy with the forehand. The one into the backhand corner was right in the corner. If Costa could have passed him with that, it would just Pete just say too good. Now 15-30 now for Sampras. Oh, that's that chip. That's that low one, Cliff. That gives Costa a little trouble. It gives Sampras 2 break points now. Santana looking on, the Davis Cup captain for Spain.
Break points. Approach from Sampras, and Costa is not up to the pass. Little bit of help from Sampras there as the ball clipped the net as it went over, and he has the break 3-1. Now all he's got to do is hold on. And he has been broken only once in the match so far, and that was in the 4th set.
A.Costa kind of rolling his eyes a little bit, realizing now uphill battle he's got on his hands the way this guy's serving. Oh, yeah. Let's give Pete Sampras 2 swings at the overhead.
Try not to give him one.
Yeah, usually one's enough to put it away.
Patrick, on the tour, where do you rate him in the overhead department?
I think he's probably #1. Yeah, seeking sky. Got great racket speed and so quick.
15 loves Sampras. 2 sets all, 3 games to 1.
Becker's got a pretty good overhead too. You can snap it. Ooh, that just goes wide. It's Costa getting frustrated.
That ball curved in the air, actually. If it hadn't, he would have made it.
Talking to himself, please. He says, please get it in.
He missed a couple of forehand passes in the last game that really hurt him.
Yeah, but Sampras put so much pressure on him. Just knows how to step it up at the right time, Pete Sampras. You can smell it now.
Oh, that's a great shot. He is so quick, the young Spaniard.
Well, Cliff, watch where he is on the return of serve, and then watch where he finishes up on the drop volley. Look where he is. Look how he's outside the court, and then look where he ends up. When he steps, he ends up by the umpire, and look at that flick. Incredible flick he has on that backhand. But that's still, I mean, that's the kind of shots he has to come up with to win points on Sampras' serve.
Now a game point for Sampras.
Pete just knows how to pace himself so well, Cliff. He knows how to, you know, 2-1 early in the 5th. Okay, now I'm going to put a lot of energy in to try to get the break.
Oh. Yep. Again, a running backhand. Tell you what, this kid, I mean, he's like Superman. Watch this again.
It's astounding, Cliff. Look at that. Got so much speed on that because he was out of court. Pete was in good position. Still game point, though, for Sampras. Go up 4-1 in the 5th.
Oh, baby. Look at that second serve from Sampras as Costa challenges him to go down into the forehand side. Sampras accepts the challenge and serves an ace on the second serve.
Cliff, you talk about playing your cards in the 5th set. This is one you keep in your back pocket. This is one you keep for the right moment, for a big time. Let it go, guys. Here's Sampras. See Costa moving over to hit the forehand, thinking it's going to be a wide serve. That's one you save. You save that one for a big moment, a break point, a tough game at 3-1, and you bring it out in the 5th set.
It gives Sampras 4 games to 1, that second serve ace.
Well, and that just shows that Pete Sampras is always thinking. And people say, oh, the guy's just bombing serves. He's just, you know, knocking down serves. That's so wrong. He knows that for the majority of the match, he's gone with the kick serve wide on the second serve to get it high up to Costa's backhand. He knows Costa's going to try to move around and hit it. It's in the 5th. It's 3-1. He says, okay, now I'm going to bring it out. Great strategy from Sampras.
You know what? He still has to get the ball in play, though, and it was an excellent. You know that the guy, Sampras, has only served 1 double fault in the match?
Amazing.
Yeah. Well, Costa looks pretty good in that serve game, doesn't he? He's been broken once, and that may be all Sampras needs. If he holds on 2 more times, he's a semi-finalist at the Australian again. He won it in '94. Becker won it last year and lost in the 1st round this year to Carlos Moya. 4-2 Sampras. He got it. Love 15.
This guy's uncanny with the backhand
Yep.
clip on the pass. It's unbelievable.
He's not bad of the forehand either.
No, but I mean, the ones he's coming up with the passers. Look at this. Sampras, maybe not deep enough, but still, Costa's out of position. Oh, he's waiting for the backhand. Look at the early racket preparation. Look how low he is. That gives him the balance. Oh, but that time Pete had it. And Costa knows he had a chance for that backhand. He's got a chance with any backhand.
Yeah, he does, but hats off to Sampras there with that one there, Patrick, because, you know, he's up there as well, and he's just been passed.
Yep.
And he still anticipates the correct way.
And he keeps coming.
Yeah. And that's what he's got to keep doing. That's really the way that he can win this match. In your face style tennis. Just long 15-30. Now this first serve is as important as any in the match. 66% of first serves in the match. A very, very good number.
Oh, yeah. Smart volley there from Sampras, Cliff, because he saw Costa sprinting and really having to guess one way. Watch, he goes right down the middle with it. Very safe. Hits it firm. Pretty much down the middle. Smart shot. Such a big point, as you said, a huge
You know what,
point.
Patrick? He got in very close to the net, too.
Very quickly. He knows how big these points are.
30 all.
Oh, that's unbelievable.
That is ace number 23, and it's game point for Sampras. Sampras has 70 winners now.
Who was that? Was that?
Some clown in the crowd.
Oh, all right.
That drop shot, you got to watch for that. Both of these boys have got to watch for it because the other one is too quick.
Yeah, and Costa was watching for that second serve again. Pete goes for it again. Actually, he was cheating, thinking it was going wide, but he's so quick. And that just shows you that if you don't hit it perfectly, Cliff, like he did in the previous game, he didn't hit that one perfectly. Costa able to run it down. And you're right, you got to hit a perfect drop volley, too. Back to deuce now. Costa hanging in.
Slight mishit on the forehand return. Second serve, and that's all it takes for Sampras. But I tell you, this is so close, this match.
Great second serve. Just a little mishit on the volley, but Costa's so far out of court, even he can't track it down. He's been coming up with some huge wide serves on the second in that court. There's a huge first up the middle.
You know, Pete Sampras is showing me one thing, Patrick, and that is he really wants this Grand Slam championship. He's one game away, 5-2. Melbourne, Australia at night time. You know, they called it the state of Victoria, of which it is the capital, the Garden State. It really is spectacular, and people here do really keep beautiful gardens. There are wide open spaces also. So this is a good place to go for a stroll and enjoy. And if you happen by here, this is called Melbourne Park. It's a retractable roof stadium. It's a state-of-the-art place, and it hosts this Australian Open Championships every year. They're watching the best player in the world here. I was going to say struggling, and I suppose he is struggling against A.Costa. It's 2 sets all. And when I went away, I said he's one game away. He's one game away from the match. He's obviously not one game away from the title here, because this is for a place in the semifinal.
Alberto Costa, I should call him Albert now. He dropped the O. Albert Costa.
You know, I asked Manolo Santana why he dropped it, and I still can't answer. He knows it's something to do with Catalan and the language and where he was born. Anyway, he dropped it.
Anyway, this guy's dropping some unbelievable shots. passing shots, forehand. Impressive performance. Still, look at the heat from that forehand from Sampras. Too much heat right there. So effortless from Pete Sampras, so smooth. He steps into that forehand. Whew.
Yeah, that's just dangerous. I tell you, you hit a drop shot at your peril on this court and against an opponent like this, and that's for either one. At your peril. Match points for Sampras. It's 15-40. He broke twice in the third set. Another attempted drop shot, and Pete Sampras is the winner. He's in the semifinals, and he will face Thomas Muster for a place in the final.
Well, unbelievable match from both guys. I mean, Costa really showed why the Spaniards think he may be the guy to beat in Grand Slams in the coming years, particularly at the French and on the slow surface here. There's Albert Costa. Just showed so much. A great forehand, huge backhand. But in the end, Pete Sampras served so well today. First serve percentage, 66% for the match. And he stepped it up when he had to at the right moments, early in the fifth, early in the third set. And just played great tennis and attacked Costa when he had the opportunity throughout the match.
Take another look at match point here, Patrick.
Well, Costa just, I think, the pressure from Sampras finally getting to him, goes for yet another drop shot, realizing, how difficult it is to get back on serve when Sampras gets that early lead in a set. And we talked about that early break that Sampras was able to get in the fifth set. Just was too much for Costa to overcome. Great serving by Sampras.
Well, you could see the disappointment in Costa's attitude. Nothing to be disappointed about. Pete played great. Back in a minute to wrap it up.